Well, thank you. That was a fantastic introduction, especially for somebody who a lot of cabbies do call an a-hole at home. So thank you very much. That's absolutely wonderful. Good morning, Democrats. How you guys doing? It is really good to be here in a period of time where the members of Congress and the governors of this country have credibility ratings somewhere below Lindsay Lohan. Welcome to the last functioning form of government in the United States of America, municipal government. Thank you for your really great work. I guess I should probably add, after having seen all of those debates that the Republicans have had, welcome to the Democratic Party, the last functioning political party in the United States of America. Give yourselves a round of applause for being smart enough to not be a Republican. You know, it's really, really wonderful to come to Washington. It's a center of human rights, and it has welcomed people who've gone through a lot at home. And I think we're really, really honored this morning to have a very, very special group of people here today. They have faced untold indignities in their homeland, and they've traveled many, many miles for freedom. And after that long, long march, they walked into this hotel this morning and saw the image of the oppressor they see at home right in the hotel lobby. Ladies and gentlemen, the heroic members of the Minneapolis City Council. Please welcome Sandy Colvin Roy. Where is Sandy Colvin Roy, who is one of your officers? See, she left. She escaped. Good. The other ones are Council Vice President Robert Lilligren, Councilmember Betsy Hodges, Councilmember John Quincy, and we also have, of course, my counterpart, Mayor Chris Coleman of St. Paul, Mayor Ardell Breedy of Rochester, Mayor Debbie Gattell of Richfield. It is great, so please thank the Minnesotans for being here. They are really a great group. What's that? Yeah. It is really great to be here. I think, as you just heard, there is a film coming out in a couple of weeks about the president and the road we've traveled. It's a great film, and so there's been great anticipation, and nobody in the country has really seen it. You're about to. So I'm going to keep my remarks short because we're very excited that this morning we're going to be able to let you see the film. I haven't seen it yet, so we're going to see it in a second. But it will be a preview of it. So get out your popcorn after all this, and we'll show it to you. I'll make my remarks very, very brief. But I want us to first off stop and think about what it was like 4 years ago. And I remember that very, very well because I remember taking a van load of young students from the University of Minnesota down to Iowa very early, a few months before the caucuses were taking place. And we walked into this little town called Buffalo Center, Iowa. And there were 300 people in town. And I can guarantee you not a single person in that town looked like Barack Obama, okay? And so we walked into that town. It was a very, very cold day, and we door knocked on every single one of those houses. And if you really want to think about the most pure act of democracy, that to me really was. When we walked into that town and started knocking on doors for a guy whose name was Barack Obama, who had a very short political history for candidates to run for president. We walked up to doors and we asked people to open their doors and listen. And they did, which says a lot about Iowa and a lot about this country. And they asked us some really, really tough questions, not the ones everybody anticipated they'd ask about his race and all sorts of other things. What they asked us about was, is this the president who is actually going to get us out of this horrible war in Iraq? And they asked us a really tough question. They said, is this a president who really has the guts to take on the third rail of American politics, something we know is bleeding this economy and bankrupting people across this country? Is this somebody who's got the guts to actually take on health care? And they asked us if this was a president who would have the guts in a period of time where wealth was getting more and more concentrated to an obscene level at the top at the expense of those in the middle class. And was this really a president who was going to go to Washington and do that? And in this incredibly polluted political time where people throw things back and forth, is this somebody who can have amazingly tough things thrown at him but can come out of that a more dignified leader? They asked us all of these tough questions. And the answer to all of that was yes. And we held our breath and wondered whether they would actually believe that or not. And a few weeks later, we walked into the convention center in Des Moines, and they announced, ladies and gentlemen, the next first family of the United States of America. And onto that stage walked Barack Obama and that amazing family. And I turned to my kids, who I've campaigned with, you know, in all sorts of winning and many, many more losing campaigns. And I just welled up and I said, this is exactly what it's supposed to be. And then I remember that time at the convention and hearing that amazing speech. And I remember the inauguration and seeing what it was like on the Washington Mall with thousands and thousands of people waving their flags and this, seeing the helicopter of George Bush take off. Do you remember those days? They felt pretty good, right? Well, I want you to take that back to that moment in Iowa. Can we say now, 4 years later, that to those people who asked those tough questions, what do we say to them? Did we get out of the war in Iraq? Yes, we did. Was this a president who would take on health care? 30 million Americans are on health care today who would not be, including those who had pre-existing conditions. And I got to tell you, as somebody who sadly just had a niece who 13 died of a brain tumor, her family had to worry about a lot, but they didn't have to worry about them losing their jobs to lose their health care because of the president's leadership. That is what a leader is about. And if you look around the country and you see that he inherited an economy that was hemorrhaging 750,000 jobs a month when he took office, and now we have had 24 months, 2 straight years of private sector job growth. And when you look at the fact that he took office at the period of time where the American auto industry was on the brink of collapse, and Mitt Romney and every other Republican said, let it go. He stepped in. 1 million more cars are made in America today. He saved the auto industry, the base of manufacturing. Is that worth fighting for? I believe it is.